Greetings from the Erie Coast. This is Matt Shad. I cannot sleep. These things keep going over and over and over in my head. And so, these questions keep arising. And the questions came about wondering. Sorry, I have to move everything here. Maybe I should just start over. Or maybe not. Let's continue. Who are you? Who am I? Where did I come from? And that is a personal question and a broader question as far as a species, as far as sentient beings go on this dirty little rock that's hurling through space at 50,000 miles an hour, 150,000 miles an hour, whatever, you know. I know that where we come from, that primordial rage, that primordial being, that ancestral tie that makes us who we are. Yet we're not that person. We're not that primordial monstrous force. It's part of us. And we have evolved upon that. Looking at the course of my life and many others as well, I like to think that we all like to think that we are unique, and we are. We're very unique. But we're also kind of predisposed to, our genetic makeup and the way that we're wired. We just, and a lot of times we just don't realize it. And that's where politics comes in. That's where religion comes in. That's where racism comes in. A lot of these very valid questions of why do we hate people that are different than us? Why do we like our echo chambers, and why do we like our little boxes that we put everything and everyone in? Well, Dr. Jane Goodall, she made a very important discovery. If you don't know who she is, Dr. Jane Goodall she did a lot of, literally lived with primates, and we're talking gorillas and chimpanzees and monkeys, and she lived with them. She studied them in every aspect of them, and from their social paradigms to their psyche and everything. And we come from that tribalistic pack mentality where you grew up. Well, let me just put it the way that she put it, and what she's seen is that she would follow these. Say there was a group of chimpanzees. Together, they carried on like you would think they would, as most chimpanzees would, dealing with each other and having, there's the male, the alpha male, the beta males, and you got your females and your alpha females, and you got your kids, and there's this whole social pecking order. There's always the oddballs. Everybody's trying to find their place in this family, this pack unit, this tribal unit. but it works, and they would roam the countryside, foraging and harboring and doing their thing. And once they would come across another chimpanzee pack or tribe doing the exact same thing they were doing, and if there were more males in your tribe, in your pack, and you came upon another pack tribe, they would literally tear them to pieces. Just because they were them and not us. They were not part of the pack. They were not part of the tribe. Even though they were the same species. The exact same everything. They picked the bugs out of their kids, out of everybody's hair, just like every other chimpanzee did. They ate their damn bananas the same way everybody else did. They took a dump in the woods just like everybody else did. They fucked just like everybody else did. Yet, they came across a group that was different. And he literally tore them to pieces. Down to the children. So, and that was it. And we're talking that they stalked them. They seen them. They assessed. They said, "All right, we have more than they do. Let's kill them all." And they did. Now, if the other group was bigger, they stepped back and they carried on about their way. Hopefully, the bigger group did not see them and attack them and tear them to pieces. See how this works? That's our cousins in the same family as us, primates. We think that we're different, but we're not. We're really not. So, all these differences that we have, all these we like to stay in our lane, stay in our box, put everything else in a box, and also we're told that we're supposed to think a certain way because we're a certain type of person. I can't tell you how many white pizzas approach me. No, you don't understand. It's not me, man. That is not me. Our journey through this world in the past, in still to this day, actually, but it's what I'm trying to lead to is that for the longest time, people stayed with their own group, with their own type, and anything that was different was bad, and was to be eradicated. And you've seen that throughout history, throughout our history. We're basically freaking chimpanzees running around tearing each other to pieces, But we got a little clever, we got a little smarter, and we learned to walk upright. Chimpanzees can walk upright too. Absolutely, but we do it all the time. We don't get down on all fours. Well, maybe we do. Maybe some of us do, sometimes. But I must admit, I've ran around on all fours in the woods before. It's whatever, through necessity or just on a whim. That's what makes me mad, though. But this idea, that's the goal. That's the tool that's being used against us. Because I've noticed, I've studied history, and I've studied myself, and I've studied everything around me for as long as I've been here in this 47 years on this planet. And what I seen, and what I'd loved to see, was that this evolution of mankind, humankind. Because hey, I mean, everything is everything now. Used to be, it was a man's world. Now it's a man and a woman's world. And of course, we're going away from this whole, is it black? Is it white? Is it gay? Is it straight? Is it male? Is it female? Or is it something in between? And so, the great sages of the history, the middle path is the way, and I do believe that. I really do believe that. There's a story that Shakyamuni Gautama, Buddha, the great Buddha, he went on. He was a real person, actually, and he went on this journey to try to find out what the hell the truth was. And so he was practicing. He followed a lot of stuff before he came to the realization that, oh shit. He had that oh shit moment under the Bodhi tree, and he was sitting on the banks of the Ganges under this Bodhi tree, and literally he was living off the droppings of birds, drinking rainwater, and he sat there. He had made the decision to sit and observe and meditate until the answer came to him. And the answer came to him in a strange way. The story is that while he was sitting there, starving to death, near death, probably dying, that a boat went by. And there was this old man and his kid. And they were in the boat. And the kid was playing with a guitar. And they were trying to get it to the perfect tune. And Buddha overhears all this. Shakyamuni Gautama overhears all this and says, and the old man says, hold on. Don't tighten it too tight. And don't tighten it and don't loosen it too loose. If it's too tight, the string will break. If it's too loose, it won't make a sound. The middle is the way. And Buddha was like, the middle path is the way. Boom! Damn. And so I can imagine he got up and, ran away and got something to eat. Because he was, I forget, it's kind of a shamanistic practice he was practicing where they didn't eat, except for what was offered to them. But anyway, and that created the whole middle path is the way. Not too tight, not too loose. Yeah. So I like that, and that appeals to me. And it's true. It's very true. If you're wound too tight, you're going to pop. If you're too loose, you won't make a sound. There'll be no strength to make a sound. To make that harmonious tune, that tone. So, when I look at history, I like to look at all history as a now. It's a way of kind of turning myself immortal. Who knows how long I've got on this planet? Who knows how long any of us got on this planet? Average lifespan is roughly 80 years if you're lucky. if you're lucky, or if you're in good health and good shape, and who knows what's killing me. But I had seen through history and through the progression and evolution and learning of humankind, because I look at it as like, okay, there's mankind. Yeah, there was mankind, but now we're humankind, and that has to be addressed, because there is the male and the female, and both have contributed to this evolution, obviously. Like Dave Chappelle said, everything that's ever walked this planet passed through the legs of a female. So it's pretty profound, actually, and true. Everything's got a mama, so you got your creators, female thing. The female energy, the creative energy. And so I have seen this evolution of humankind and had hopes. I was like, yeah, this is great. We are actually progressing into something better than those chimpanzees running around tearing each other apart. Or so I had hoped. I still have that hope that we will evolve, that we have evolved. We're always evolving. But that sometimes you got to go through some tumultuous times to realize that. I think you have to anyway. That's part of the evolution. Is facing a catastrophic event and surviving that catastrophic event and having enlightenment because of it. Like I said, Shakyamuni Gautama was starving himself under a tree. When an old man and when his son went by in a boat and they were playing a guitar, like, kind of makes you, having a discussion about tuning a guitar makes you question your life decisions here. You're like, what the fuck am I doing? So, and we've all been there, right? Especially when you're younger, you have those peer pressures, and you're put into a box. You have to be this certain way, this and that, and I see a lot of, and that's social norms. That's the way that works anyway. That's how you kind of start making your identity. Yet you're products of your environment, right? Yet you have that ability to boom, because the mind is always free, and so you have the ability to rationalize other things and to have different concepts and have other cultural things that come into your life. You're like, whoa, So trying to learn, and you meet other people, and you go to other places and you experience other things, and you're like, wow, this is not like home. And so you start to have a more profound picture of the world, and that, of course, shapes you as well. And I see this more prevalent when I go home. I haven't been home in a long time. But when I do, and I see the same people I went to school with, and of course, home, I've had like 3 or 4, 5, 4 different high schools, I think. 5 different high schools. Damn. But, you still get to see these people, and you're like, Wow, you're still working at Taco Bell. Wow. 30, 20, 20, 30, 30 something years you've been at Taco Bell now. Never went anywhere, huh? But they still have a good life. I mean, and they see me and they always like, oh my God, you're back. Wow. And they always ask me, where you been? I'm like, oh, I've been here, I've been there. And they're like, they kind of get off on it. Kind of live vicariously through my little stories. And you're like, yeah, I've been this and that, and they ask you questions of the past of what they seen last time they seen you, or gathered from you last time. And you're like, oh yeah, well, how was Africa? I was like, Africa? Wow, that was years ago. Oh yeah. You want to tell them so much, but they want to hear so much. They want to hear something different. Anyway, so it's like a reverse culture. Reverse culturality. You get to go home and see the same people, that never left. Yet they changed. So it's pretty interesting. And you always think, what if I just had stayed home? What if I had gotten that job in Taco Bell? I probably would have been working at the same lumber yard. I don't know. I mean, really? No, not me. I mean, I had to travel. I had to get out and see the world. But I couldn't be nailed down. I couldn't. No, Jarity, no more food. It's 10 o'clock and we've already feasted. No. No. I'm sorry. No. No. I have to be strong. I have to be strong for you. Bitch. Make me do it, huh? You work for me, slave. Do my bidding, you human slave. Right? I mean, how many of us do that? No. What does no mean? It means okay, eventually. All right, was that good for you? Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that. No more. That's another thing. We make these ultimatums. No more. That's the last straw. Okay. Oh, I say we feasted. We had chicken, pizza. Oh. Yeah. I don't know what's worse, drinking all night or eating pizza. Maybe that's the reason why I can't sleep. Maybe that's the reason why I'm having all these thoughts. And we are evolving, and you see this. You see this, that, the troubles that we're having, that the world is having, and you see the solutions that we're coming up with. It appears that the enemy is. They made a grand design. They made a grand design to gain power and control over the whole world. I mean, it's definitely diabolical. But their plans were hatched back in Operation Lockstep. 2007? I forget. Whatever. 2010? I forget. Yeah. 2007, I think. And they've been, and that was a plan that they hashed up from a plan years before that, and who could say that people can say that this has been going on for centuries, maybe even thousands of years. I don't know. But I know that right now, we are the most culturally diverse and influenced, that we've ever been. Who doesn't know some Chinese words, some Japanese, and that's great. That's great. I love that. I love that we can mix and share and learn. And I love that. I love that about my travels. I can look at a map and go, wow, I can tell you stuff about that country because I've actually been there, you know? And it's great. It's great, And I think that is definitely our evolution is for us to realize that we are all connected. We are all one. In this that is that universal brotherhood, universal humanhood, that universal family. And I say universal for a reason. Okay? Because it is universal. We can't be the only ones out here, can we? No. Eventually, we're going to stumble into somebody else. Andromeda it's on its way. And it's a full-fledged galaxy just like ours. It's on its. We're on a crash course. It's going to take about 1 million years or so, but it's getting there. We're actually our biosphere, if you can say, our debris field is starting to merge. Our galaxy and their galaxy. So it's already started. It's just millions of years out. And we've seen this in happen many times out there in space where two galaxies meet, and it usually it's a violent thing, yes, but it flows. It takes a long time, and then it turns into one big galaxy. And then, of course, eventually it all gets sucked down the black hole that is in the middle of every galaxy, sucking everything in, creating that gravitational vortex that makes it spin. And then eventually it spits it out. It gathers all the resources, makes and creates, and then spits it out to do it all over again into the tiniest of particles. Yeah, so there you go. There's the secret right there. That's what's going to happen. Unless we can break the confines of that, which I think we can. To travel to new galaxies. And we've already conceptualized this. So of course we can do it. And there might be evidence that we've already done this. And maybe that's how we got here. Who knows? But I'm not going to go down that way. Because, we can only react to what we know, to the stimuli that is given. And the information that we have. We can extrapolate from incomplete data, but that's when you get in a whole damn quantum physics thing. And is the cat really in the box? Is the cat alive? Is the cat alive or dead in the box? Is there actual cat in the box? Is there an actual box? Which dimension is the cat in the box in the dimension? And you know what I'm saying? Fuck all that bullshit. But the mind is always free. And so we are all in this together. So the division is the thing that got me. Because we all look at ourselves as who we project to be. We have this like social deity. I want to look a certain way and present myself in a certain way to everybody else. So because that's the idea that I have in my head of what I'm supposed to look like. And obviously we play with that. We confine to the social norms. You put on your suit and tie. You put on your dress blouse and your high heels, and you go to work. And you put on your work shirt. You put on your name tag. You conform to those social norms that society has deemed appropriate in that position. And then what happens when you get home? Everybody wears the same damn thing. A t-shirt and some cut off freaking sweatpants or what, and some flip-flops. Oh, off with the monkey suit, male or female. So, you're like, fuck that. Time for a drink and a hot shower. I mean, and that's basically how we live our lives, right? And so I always like to I don't like to be in a box. I'm not in a box. You can put me in a box. But once you find out more about me, you're like, oh wait, I need more boxes. Damn. And that's good. I think that is great. That is great. But there has something to be said about the one person that's never been anywhere, has always stayed in the box. That is very interesting as well. Where we have the problem though is when you stay in that box, and that's the wrong box you want to stay in. Say it's some kind of self-affirming racist kind of thing, I don't want to cross any barriers and say things that, because I want to real speak, but obviously we're being censored. So, if all purple people, are being oppressed by the green people, purple power. You know what I mean? All green people, they're racist and they got all the power, and we got no power and we oppress. So the purple people and the green people is enemies. And anytime we see each other, we're gonna kill each other. And eventually, the purple people will overcome. When it's not this, but it happens with the green people too. So we all have these, and then you say things and you're like, how dare you, green person, talk to me in that way? How dare you, purple person, talk to me in that way? Well, who the fuck? You guys are stupid. And once you step back and you realize that they're on a journey. They're misinformed, and they're playing into that narcissistic, self-feeding thing where everybody's like, yay, bravo, likes, like, share, and subscribe. That's a great deal. Yeah, you see it. I mean, that's how this thing has been set up. I'm probably gonna piss people off, and I don't give a fuck. I'm sure I have. I'm not the most, photogenic, although I must say I'm quite dash and yush. But I'm not the most eloquent at speak, but my tongue's got a bit of silverness to it. But I'm not in that box. I'm not in your box. Sorry. There might be bits and pieces of me in there, but I'm in every box. There's a piece of me in every fucking box you can ever possibly think of. But I don't want to be. So I'm like the quantum. Yeah, I'm in everything. Everything is everything. Yeah, I'm always changing. I'm an old man now. Shit, how'd that happen? But having the echo chamber and the feeding of the narcissistic mind, hey, bravo, way to tell that green person off, I mean, that's how wars begin, and that's how wars start, and that's how wars continue. I have to fidget with shit, so I'm playing with my axe and I'm playing with my stick. Sorry, bear with me. See, I got to do stuff. So we have to realize that we are us, and it's not us against them. It's us against ourselves. I mean, as much as I talk about protection and security, and even with the study of history and wars, and I look back into my Norse cultures and everything. The exact same thing happened to the Norse. They were bloodthirsty killers, and they raped, pillaged, and plundered and enslaved every culture that they came upon. So most of them were successful at it, and there were some that they didn't. But what they did finally happen, though, is they got a taste of the world. And before the Viking Age, the Vikings the Norse were going out and hanging out with the world anyway, because they had boats. They had some really badass boats that could just about go anywhere, and they were from hardy stock, and they loved to travel and explore. And so that leads to that multicultural thing. The Romans, they raped, pillaged, plundered, and enslaved, but they also just kind of embraced the different cultures into their lives, even all the way down to their religious practices, which were very varying a lot. I mean, a lot. It's like they would steal your religion and practice it. They would enslave you and practice your religion. It was like the elite thing to do, along with all their debauchery and whatever. But I mean, there were some moral Romans as well. But we had America had this idea of the high moral ground, and now we're finding out that it's not so moral, and that things have changed drastically, and the future looks like it's going to change drastically, and we're going to change with it, of course. But we're going to learn from this, and we're going to evolve and carry on and grow. We will either we will either overcome the troubles, or we will succumb to them. But that too will change. That too will change, because their plan is based on it's multi-tiered. It's based on psychological, social, and economical, and it's tribal. It goes all the way back to that primordial, and how that's how they're going. They've done their research. They really have. They took it in. They're not stupid when it comes to that, but we're not either, because they fail to realize is that we all drank from the same well. We all drank from the same well. So we are all one, and their deviancy to try to make this utopian dystopia of epic proportions, worldwide proportions, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna work. I really don't. But um, my gourd's alien looking, right? Look at this thing. Crazy. Looks like a duck. An alien duck. Could we be the aliens? And that's the thing about religion. Religion has constantly been evolving. Yeah, absolutely, religion, but it's a part. It's a huge part of people. Um, I mean, I grew up in Christianity. I know it, and it has to be that way. You have to be Christian, especially in the small town. If you don't, people are going to talk. Whatever. I mean, I'm not Christian, nor am I Norse, nor am I Buddhist. Although I'd have to say Buddhism appeals to me more than anything. Norse I just like because it's just part of my history and ancestry, So getting in touch with that is great. I think it explains a lot that's happened in my life. Like, oh yeah, that's why I did that. Yeah, that was very stupid. Yeah, okay. That's why I took on 5 people with a stick. Still got my ass whooped, but hey, whatever. Is that why I sailed the 7 seas? Is that why I became a golden shellback, an emerald shellback? Because it's the Vikinger in me. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting correlations. It really is. It really is. But there's other things that I've done in my life that I'm like, well, that's not too Vikinger. But okay, whatever. It's a part of who I am, and that adds to that spice, to that flavor, to that aroma, and to that intellect that I think is very, very very, very much needed is to be cultured and to be experienced. And you can do that without actually going there. That's what books are for. That's what movies do. We have that ability to be able to go, oh yeah, and listen to a story and conceptualize and put ourselves in those shoes. But some of us actually have to walk a mile in those shoes to actually get it. But whatever. You get more of a profound experience, I think. But more understanding. That's what I'd hoped, and we are, and I know this that we are going in that general direction. But there's always that monkey mind. It's that monkey mind coming out again. Yeah. And that urge, that primordial urge to just rip things asunder that are different. When, we have embraced things that are different, So, and I know you can be like, oh, that's that Swedish blood in you, you fucking hippie Viking. Okay, hey, I own it, whatever. That's great, man. Grab a drink, jump in the hot tub, man. Come on. Whatever. Or we can fight about it. Either way, let's have a good time. I'm cooking hamburgers. Would you like cheese on that? So, that's just the things I was thinking about, Are you black? Are you white? Or are you something in between? Are you gay? Are you straight? Are you something in between? Male, female? I think that's more cut and dried. But Could be, yeah. There are. Wait a minute. There are people. I've met them. They are. They are something in between. So there's always exceptions to the rule. Yeah, I used to go to these fetish shows when I was in the Marine Corps, and I met this couple, and this guy was like 7 foot tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, big monster of a man, and he had this beautiful wife. She was beautiful, and they were leather people. He was dressed in his, like, he had some. There wasn't assless chaps, no, but he had the leather chaps on and the vest, and she had on the same thing, and she was a little brunette and just beautiful, and he was just a massive specimen of a man, and I talked to people, I talked to everyone, and well, he was a hermaphrodite. He had no penis. He was born with a pussy. Blew my fucking mind. I was like, what? I'm just looking at him like, yeah, we're married and she's a real woman and I like women. Okay. So there is those in between. I didn't go any further than that. I was like, well, all right, it's my young fucking Marine mind has just been blown now. Excuse me, I'm gonna need a drink on this one. I need to go outside and smoke a cigarette and process this shit. But you see my point. There is something in between. It's always. All right, I think the middle path is the way. I really do. I really, really do. High ground, the low ground, the middle ground. And you can always go high or low, either way. It's up to you. It's part of who, stay fluid, right? And I use that a lot, obviously, in my combatives too, in my tactics, in my strategy. That's the greatest thing about these great these great generals and great tacticians is you had your orthodox and you had your unorthodox. And both had some pros and cons. But those who could go back and forth to orthodox and unorthodox were freaking masters. And they made note of them in history. We all heard of Attila the Hun. Truly amazing. Stuff that he did is still studied to this day. Sun Tzu, obviously, but Napoleon and a slew of the Civil War generals. When y'all, let me tell you, you want to learn tactics and war fighting, study every general, North and South, of the Civil War, and you'll be blown away. You'll be like, damn. You'll know everything you need to know. Because they all came from a college, a institution of warfare that had studied history of warfare. Most of them went to the same school. Most of them went to West Point. Most of them served together. And then we had the Civil War and they split. And they came together. The Union actually asked Robert E. Lee first to join the Union because he was the badass general of the world. And he said, no, sir, I can't. I have to stay with Virginia, West Virginia. I have to, his obligations. And, the other guy, Ulysses S. Grant and William Tecumseh Sherman, Grant was probably not the best general in the world. He was more of a drunk than anything, but he was just that no quit kind of guy. Just fuck it, bear down and take it. Strive for, go forward. Sir, we're getting cut to pieces. I know, keep going. Don't stop. He's got bayonets and arrows sticking in him. He's like, keep going. That was Grant. But it so many like in between the middle path, and having that ability to go orthodox or unorthodox. It becomes, your possibilities are endless. But I've learned that having those endless possibilities kind of gives you the tendency to stay in one place. But that's okay, because I can go left or right, up or down, and stay in the middle. That's good. But in life as well, in life as well, and dealing with these issues and problems. We've seen this racial divide, this wedge placed in between us, and at a time when I thought, I wasn't seeing color. I was talking to people, and I could talk to everybody from anyone and everywhere, and I did, and have a great conversation with anyone about anything, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, sexual orientation, or religion, or whatever, or whether you like quiche or not. Anyway, you get my gender. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. And I love the idea that whole universal humanhood, brotherhood, sisterhood. Because that really doesn't have that. The life force of the universe doesn't really. There's no. It's just one. Welcome to life. And the diversity of life is there because of necessity, So, I know, Charity, I'm staying up late, and I'm keeping you up. She likes to go to bed at certain times, so I'm keeping her up. I'm sorry, Charity. So, this has been Mad Shad, having a fucking mad moment. Can't sleep. I'm just calling for the middle path, man. The middle path is the way. Let's have some understanding here. Let's understand that we can't take that low road, man, and destroy it all, throw it away. We have to build on this. I mean, seriously, we took a movement. Here's an observation I made. Let's go, Brandon. I say that, everybody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. And it started from a actual, just a cultural movement, in the college, in the college culture. Fuck Joe Biden. And then there's a NASCAR moment, and everybody gets trolled, and this reporter tries to play it off like, oh, let's go Brandon, yay. And he's like, you could tell it was very awkward for him. He's like, they're not saying my name. But we went with it anyway, right? So, but that's how we've taken it to the next level of troll. Let's go Brandon. And now I hear kids are even saying it. That's even more awesome. Even if they know what they're saying, they get it too. Or they're just playing along. Either way, it's badass. But that's how we're dealing with this. And we're sending a clear and present message. Oh, yes. Everybody knows what let's go Brandon means. So, even Brandon. Even Trader Joe. All right, so anyway, crap. I gotta get to bed. I gotta get to work in the morning. Damn. Anyway, I just had to get online here and just throw this out here. And yes, it's almost an hour long, but Yeah. It's a mad, mad world out there, especially in my head. Good night.